Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie. I'm the Crafty Medic. I am on the west coast of BC in Canada, and I am a Silver Elite demonstrator.
Hi, I'm Kara Paisant with the Crafty Nook. I'm on the west coast of the US in Washington State in Eastern Washington, and I'm a Gold Elite demonstrator. So for the last 3 years, Stephanie and I have been collaborating together to come up with tutorials to use for classes. We figured out that combining our powers for good and not evil, but mostly for good,
Well,
to
sometimes evil.
occasionally, for the most part, good. It just made life easier to make tutorials for classes because it's a lot of work to design. And we thought this would be great to bring to a larger group of demonstrators, to add more tutorials that we could use, but also make a resource available for a larger group.
So what we've been doing is just depending on who has the inspiration and who has the energy. One or sometimes both of us would work on a class and work on some projects based on specific product. And then we each use it in a way that works for us. So for myself, I have been hosting my classes pretty much exclusively online, mostly via Zoom or pre-recorded videos. So I've been mailing all of my product out to my customers, and that's what's been working for me.
And for the most part, my classes are all in person. Of course, during the pandemic, that wasn't the case. I was online with everybody else, but most of my classes are held in person in my classroom.
And we use the projects a little bit differently as well. So I generally just have everybody make one of each of the projects, and Kara, her customers tend to look for a little bit more volume in their products. So often what she'll do is she'll have her customers make two of each project. So whether it's a card or a 3D item. And so they're actually making twice as many projects as my customers maybe are, but we're using the same base class, and that's just depending on what works for us and our customers. And we've loved working like this, so I'm hoping going to be a really fun and valuable thing for us to have a larger group and a larger pool of classes to draw from, and a more diverse pool of classes to draw from. So this whole project, this workshop planner that I've been talking about, who is it for, and who's going to benefit from this? So I think beginners are going to benefit from this because you're holding your first class. You might be overwhelmed with everything that it involves. Maybe you haven't had a lot of training in how to plan and hold classes. So this is going to help you along the way for that. Experienced demonstrators, maybe you're getting overwhelmed and you don't have enough hours in your day, and you can share some of the workload and offer some more diversity in what you're offering your customers as well. Team leaders, you can use this to train your team on how to hold classes and maybe hold their first class and help them grow and therefore help you grow as well. And then some of us are just looking to share ideas and looking for some inspiration, and this is a great way to do that.
So let's talk about credit, like who gets credit for the projects that are decided. This can be a very sensitive topic, but this is what we've decided and are going with. Your name will be attached to the tutorial so people know who created it.
Demonstrators, no.
The demonstrator, yeah, only the demonstrator. But you are not required to share who created the document. And I know some people you would not be happy. This may not be the program for you. That's okay. But know that everybody will get to share everybody's projects. So none of the tutorials will be branded so that we can all use them as one resource. The group is about lifting the burden on everyone to help us grow our businesses and be more successful.
And that doesn't mean that if you feel that it's appropriate to share with your customers who actually created the projects that you can't do that. It's just not required.
Yes.
So how this whole thing is going to work. So first off, if you haven't already, fill out the form that's basically just giving us your email address. And that's kind of your initial sign up. From there, we're going to email you another form once we've seen the catalog on March 23rd. If you don't get that email, it'll come from me by the end of March. Reach out and we'll make sure that you get it. This is kind of to confirm that you're making sure that you're getting our emails and nobody gets kind of stuck in tech purgatory. The form that we're going to send you is you're going to be actually choosing your product, and there's going to be a video there about how to choose your product and how to actually create your class and build your class. And you're going to fill that out by the end of April. You don't have to use pre-order products because you're going to have all of May to order your products and create your projects. Then you're going to have until the end of May to create your projects and complete your planner. You're going to have a template you're going to fill out. There's going to be instructions with that. Once you submit it, we're going to check it and then give you access to a folder that has all of the completed planners in it. Just because a project or a suite or whatever isn't necessarily to your style, it might actually speak to some of your customers. So don't be afraid to offer some of these different options to your customers. The one thing I really like about this project and this program, and what Kara and I have found, is that offering slightly more diverse projects, your customers might actually find something that they liked, and you don't have to do a ton of work and you don't have to own all of the product.
Yeah, very much so. All right. Does this sound a little intimidating? We're about to get to samples in just a minute so you can see what we're talking about. We have put a lot of rules and regulations on how big your tutorials should be, how many projects, and we're going to outline that here in a second. But just know we're here to help everyone. So we will coach you along the way. You can get in contact with either one of us to know if you are like, well, is this enough? Do I need to do more? And we'll help refine that along the way.
And
We're not here.
You don't have to message both of us. You can message either one of us too. If you want to be told that your bows need to be bigger and flashier, I would say contact Kara. If you want to be told that your bows need to be a little bit smaller and maybe more dainty and precise, then message me. But you can contact either of us for help along the way.
I like big bows and I cannot lie. Okay, so moving along. We're not about criticizing you. This is definitely to help build each other up. But we do want to make sure that we have a level of, oh, I totally lost the word, that all of the projects are up to the same level and up to the bar that we want, that will be executable for everybody.
And that everybody can be proud of.
Yes, yes. When you submit your projects, it's not approved or not approved. We'll work with you to make sure if anything needs to be adjusted, that is something you can do rather easily.
Yeah, and really that's the whole group, right? The Crafty Collaborations group is not about criticism. It's about building everybody up and helping everybody improve and grow. We're not about judging other people. So when we talk about coaching, what do we mean? I'm going to show you an example here, and this was actually sent to me by someone before a swap. And this person sent me this photo and was like, hey, I want to do this for a swap, but is not really feeling it. What can we do? So first off, I kind of said, hey, like the pieces aren't really connecting. So why don't we look at adding some layers and maybe tying these pieces together a little bit more? So we did that and started playing with kind of the arrangement and some extra layers, and it still wasn't really working. So we said, hey, you know what? Maybe it's the background. Maybe the background's too busy. Let's find something a little bit more subdued that kind of fits the theme a bit more. So this was the next thing that she sent me, and I really like this. I love that tag. And I said, hey, a lot of the tags that I've been seeing have been layered with vellum. So this was kind of the next step in the process. And then this was the final swap card. So when we're talking about coaching, that's kind of what we mean, is just taking you from your initial idea and all the way through to a project that you and everybody else can be super proud of.
But we also know that some of you won't need any coaching at all. I mean,
oh, totally.
A lot of you, I'd say most of you, have beautiful projects. I've seen them. So please don't feel like you're going to be, we have to help everybody along. That's not the case, but we will help if you want it.
Yeah. All right. So I think we have some samples here. Let me see if I can. make this work.
Make the computer
There we
work.
go.
There we go.
Make the computer
So,
happy.
so the first project is with Happiest of Birthdays. This is one that Stephanie and I both did. And what we included were the project, how you could do the card, and then a stepped up version. And we did that for all of them. So
Yeah,
that
there's
was
4
great.
projects.
Right. So you ended up with 8 projects in one. These aren't the hardest cards, fully acknowledged, but you are giving your customers 2 different ways to do each of the cards.
So you could totally just do the 4 stepped up versions and that would be a class. But adding that simpler version or just elevating one more level will double the number of projects you have. So this would be kind of like a bare minimum of what we're looking for this project. Another one that's kind of a basic one is this class here that we did with the In Bloom stamp set and the paper and all of that. So this one had 5 cards. They're a little bit more elevated than the last ones were. We've got more embellishments, some die cutting, and some ribbons. And so there's just the 5 cards. This one has a stepped up version of it. That would be, again, another kind of basic, this is what we're looking for. If you wanted to
Okay,
start
so we
adding,
had, oh, so sorry, go
the
ahead.
next one? No worries.
Yeah,
To start adding
so
3D
sorry.
projects? Yeah.
Yeah. So this next class is the perfect example of what would be a quintessential class in our minds. So you have 4 cards and a 3D project, and one of the cards is a fancy fold. So this isn't a huge, it wasn't a ginormous 3D project, but it gives you a nice variation using products all from one suite. That's actually, I think, not true. I think the ribbon wasn't part of that suite. Nonetheless, it looks great together.
Yeah, totally.
So this is an example of a great core class.
Mm-hmm. And again, when we're going back to kind of using it however works for you, I offered this class with 1 of each, and Kara offered it with 2 of each. So her customers made 10 projects, mine made 5.
Yep.
And then moving on from there, this class here we did actually was an onstage after party, and it kind of had a main project, which was this cute little desk calendar. So this was a little bit more of an involved project in that you had all of these calendar pages, and it had the little pocket and a pen and all that kind of stuff. So in order to take this and turn it into a class, all we did was we added this note card set. And that's kind of a really easy way to add to your class is a mini paper pumpkin box and half a pack of note cards. So in this case, everybody made 2 each of these fairly simple note cards and put it in a box. So technically there's only 3 projects. There's the box, there's the set of note cards, because again, they're so simple, they're kind of one project, and then the more involved desk calendar project.
Yeah, that was a fun class. It was fun to do with our teens, actually.
Yeah.
So the next one, this is the Gilded Seashells. I love this class. So I love sand dollars. When I went to the Washington coast, I was able to find a whole bunch of them. So I created this class with the wood, it's a wood frame from the dollar store, and then put the sand dollar in the middle. So this class, one of the things we want to be careful of with our tutorials for this is that we have something that is easy for everyone to get if it is not a Stampin' Up! Product. We can work together with you we might team source that for all of us to be able to buy it, or figure that out, but definitely keep that in mind when you're thinking about your classes. So this class came with, we made the frame and then we made 4 cards, and they're pretty simple cards. They weren't anything over the top, but it most definitely includes a technique of using the gold leafing to create all of them. So it was a great class.
It was, yeah. And I had to use a different frame, and I just left the picture blank so that people could put a photo in there if they wanted, because I didn't have the sand dollars. Another one with that 3D item was the Penguin Place class we did. So again, this little clipboard that we altered, this was something that was harder to source. So if you're wanting to include something like this, you absolutely can just kind of consult with us in the group, so that we can find a way that everybody will have access to that or something similar. It doesn't have to be identical. And then again, just a bunch of cards. I think this one had, how many cards did it have? One
They had
fancy
a
fold,
bunch.
one, two, three, four cards. So five cards and the little 3D item. I think Kara, I just sent you a bunch and you did them as place settings or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
but yeah, so six projects, a fairly simple altered, some straightforward cards, and then the fancy fold.
All right. We said we were giving you samples and we weren't joking. So the next one is the Snowflake Splendor. It's a double wonder one sheet. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
a
So you
double
can do
wonder
one
card.
sheet wonders.
Right. As long as they are stepped up, right? They have more. Also, they're super easy to mail. So these, we added dies and of course, lots of labels. I can't have enough labels or bows to
I
create.
hated you for the die cutting in this one.
Yeah. So this was a great class for the snowflakes.
And also multiple variations of each different card. We didn't just have one version of each card. So this one we had 4, this one we had 3, just giving some variation. And then a simpler one sheet wonder was this one here that was the 6x6 one sheet wonder. That's one of my favorites. And all we did for this one was, again, offering alternatives. So we did 3 different versions of each piece, so that at the end there was actually 9 cards involved in this one. And again, 6x6 is super easy to mail. You don't want to have to be mailing 12x12
oh
design
no,
series
don't
paper.
do that. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah, 12x12 is very expensive. Don't do that.
This one's
so you may be
favorite.
asking, yeah, I was just gonna say, this is one of my favorite projects. I started with mini scrapbooks before I was ever with Stampin' Up. And boy, did I let it come out in this one. So you may be asking, what if I want to do one big project? By all means, this would count. This one, every page is decorated with pockets and tags and pulls and all the things, right? Then to make it even more awesome, we added note cards to it. No, it wasn't note cards. They were just regular cards.
No, it was a box of note cards.
Yeah. Right. We added that. However, that said, the box of note cards are not required. If you do something like this. Yeah, no, not for it. So if you have the scrapbook, you can absolutely do just that and then move on with your life. Completely acceptable.
Absolutely.
Why did we do the note cards?
I think this was it for a retreat or something? It was something we wanted to do more. I can't remember. Or maybe I just wanted to be involved. I just needed to put myself in there. Just some more examples. This is again a very standard class for what we're expecting and what we've been doing. We've got, I think, again, 5 cards, fairly straightforward cards, using the products from the suite, and then a nice straightforward 3D project. Kara's the queen of these 3D projects.
They're fun.
And we've got our cards there. So again, super straightforward class.
All right, so now here's one that's not quite as straightforward. So I played with the gold foil laser sheets and created a whole bunch of note cards, like a lot. I don't even remember how many.
16.
A bunch. 16? Yeah, 16 cards. So these are definitely easier cards. These are not hard cards, but the volume of it is what makes it an appropriate class.
Yeah, 16 altogether.
16.
This is another class that I actually did some training for some other demonstrators, and it's got a variety of complexities. So I've got super simple, kind of almost hashtag simple stamping projects, all the way up to some fancy folds that needed some extra pictures and lots of instructions. And I actually had done a video to go along with this too. One of the things you want to consider when you're designing a class like this, though, is how do your pieces break up? So I used the small Memories and More card base here. So I used the larger one as well. So you're not ending up with a bunch of leftover product because you can only buy something in a pack and you're using one piece of that pack. You want to use all the pieces of that pack if that's what you're going to base it around.
Yeah. And then finally, for your last one, this was the tidings and trimmings class. So we had a one sheet wondering here, and that's great. It was a pretty simple one, but also had 3Ds. And I think what we really wanted to show you was sometimes you need to add just a little something more to your class. This is the perfect way to do it. So boxes that Stampin' Up! Already has, and you decorate them. The gold one on the screen it's a piece of DSP wrapped around it with a star and some die cuts. So pretty easy peasy, but it definitely adds that little extra that you might want for a class.
Totally. All right. That's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work involved in this. There's a lot of requirements. There's going to be some back and forth probably between us and you as the creators. But we want to create really high quality tutorials that everybody can use and everybody can be proud of. If we do this well, it means that every one of us is going to have at least one class for every month that's already planned out, and you don't have to worry about it for a year. Depending on how many people participate, you might end up with multiple classes to either pick from, or you can have multiple classes a month. Again, the work is already done for you. All you have to do is cut up cardstock and give it to your customers. But the hard work of planning and prepping and all that on the creative side is already done for you.
Right. So do you still have questions, or do you just have questions in general, not still have questions? Reach out to either one of us. We'll be happy to help you. Comment on the video or shoot either one of us a message in Messenger, and we'll respond and do that. We are hoping as many people as possible participate in this with us.
Absolutely. And don't forget to sign up for the email if you haven't already. That's the only way you're going to move on to the next steps. We'll put the link in the post and the video and everywhere we can think about to put that link. Happy crafting. Let us know if you've got questions and stay out of trouble.
Bye.
Bye.